Admit it. The only reason why you're watching this video is because you like juicy secrets. Hey,
Hey,
it's Zay.
Lala, and
Welcome
welcome
to
to
our
our channel.
channel.
So I'm going to take you to the very beginning on how we first met. It started with a school program that prepares you for your first job.
So one of the activities was a mock interview, and I made it my mission for her to be my partner.
Me realizing the awkward eye contact that we made previously, I looked for every other person to be a partner with. The mock interview was awkward and we gave each other feedback. He thought I spoke well, and I thought that his eye contact was on point. Fast forward, he came up to me and asked for my number, and it was the most awkward thing. Everything about the situation was just awkward. Like he had a group of friends that were like laughing, and then when I look up, they turned away like they weren't staring. So after the program, we decided to stay in touch. We just learned each other more. We're vibing out, and we decided to make things official.
So she decided to invite me into prom at her school. That we vibed out, we enjoyed ourselves at prom, and then later on,
We went to laser tag, and he whooped my butt. And that's when I started realizing how competitive he was. Fast forward straight out of high school, we were able to save a little cash from our first jobs, and we got our first apartment. And that process was so long because we were so young. A lot of people didn't want to trust us to rent to, but it worked out. We got our first apartment. It was really big. It was far in the country. Nothing was going on out there, but we were just so excited to finally be together and to have our something to call our own.
mm-hmm. But moving in together had its own set of challenges. We came from two different households, means two different rules, two different habits, good and bad habits.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
With that, it took a lot of time to us to learn each other. And even now, we still learning each other.
Fast forward to our second apartment. We were so excited to get closer to the city, so it wasn't so much driving distance. And that's when we started to grow our relationship with God. I was already a Christian when I first met Zay, but he was still growing in that field.
The more I learn, the more I realize that there's truth behind it. So, me being as skeptical that I am, I needed some of that truth and knowledge before being able to dive into some type of Christianity. And that took me some time.
And so one day we went to one of our church services, and the pastor was talking about living right.
We was not living right. We moved in together. We've been through two different households together, and we was not married. So I decided to propose to her.
He asked my dad for my hand in marriage, so my dad gave his approval.
So my other plans was to get married that same month. We didn't broadcast it to everybody. So it was just our little personal secret.
So of course, it started raising eyebrows because we're both wearing rings on our marriage finger. And people are like, "Oh, did you guys get married?" Or I'm like, "No, just Beyonce," and just pretty much lying. So now we are married, and we're just growing in our relationship with God, with each other, and it was time for that move. We started fasting and praying even more, growing with each other and growing with God. And it was pretty clear that it was time to get out of our comfort zone and move. Now, I'm not talking about move to just a different place, like move out of state.
We moved to Texas. We came from a northern state called New York. We decided to go to Texas, which is the complete polar opposite of New York. It's hot, blazing, 150 degrees. Over here cooking the egg on the
Exaggerating.
sidewalk. Hot. That's the difference we've changed.
Although God gives you direction, He also gives you wisdom and knowledge. And we decided to move, have a wedding, and leave our jobs.
And one of the biggest struggles is that me trying to make up that money was me doing DoorDash and Walmart Spark, which is another delivery app. And while doing that, there was more struggles that came up. Our car insurance company, which should not be named, took away our insurance because they did not support rideshare. And I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know certain insurances didn't cover rideshare. So we was out of insurance, out of jobs, because that was the money I was making to cover us at the main time.
They didn't even tell us. We went on the app,
And with that, we needed money, we needed insurance. We was also planning a big wedding in the next couple of months.
which could not push back because at this point, we already put down our deposit and we were already engaged for 3 years. So people are just wondering, like, hey, you put a rock on it, but they're still not married. So people started raising eyebrows, just wondering, like, is it ever going to happen? So we got introduced to the real world and we realized that we made a big mistake doing this all back to back without any real plan.
Yeah, it was a big eye opener. So for us to make up for our mistakes, we both took two full-time jobs to make up for the loss of money from us being out of a job, us having to pay back for the insurance, us having to pay the rest of this wedding off in such a short amount of time. So we was working like I was working like 76 hours a week. She was working like 70, 80 hours a week, draining ourselves out, lacking sleep, grinding, just to make up for our mistakes of being out of a job for a while. Because when we left our jobs, we did not have a backup. And not having a backup puts you back financially. So either way, have a good backup plan before you leave your jobs.
And that must have been a year of struggle for everyone because we ended up finding out that our pastor was not able to marry us.
Our pastor from New York, who we was gonna fly down, said he wasn't able to make it because of financial struggles as well.
And so that's when we got the idea to have a family member marry us.
He was already married, so technically we did not need somebody to ordain us because we was already ordained 3 years ago. So realistically, we just needed somebody to be there as a person. We need somebody just to do the speech for us. That's really all we needed, right?
We kept praying, we didn't lose the faith, and we had to do what we had to do. At this point, we put ourselves in this situation
Yep.
and we made a promise to God that
Mm-hmm.
if he helped us get out of this, we would never put ourselves back in the situation.
And we was working hard. We got the money. We paid off the wedding.
Through that financial hump. So, why did we start this channel? Well, we wanted to share our life experiences with the world.
And what you can expect from this channel is stories, skits, challenges, pranks, cooking, yeah, everything you could think of. This is our life, posted to you guys, and hopefully you could come along for the journey.
We want all the comments, we want all the likes and ideas, and tell us what's your favorite date night idea. And remember, if you enjoyed the vibe, hit like and subscribe.